Go ahead. Go ahead. It's awesome.
So I think one of the key things is that when you're using it to build your business, not assuming in the first instance that everybody you're going to connect with is going to be a customer. Because I
Right.
think if you start in that place, you will come across as being very salesy. And that's
Right.
not my intention. So what I want to do is learn more about the types of people that are like my ideal client. And the reason for that is they may not need me, but they will be able to give me valuable insight that helps my actual clients because they're operating at the same level, they're doing the same type of work, they're dealing with the same type of challenges. So all of it is a great way for me to build my knowledge. And there is the chance that they might need a coach as well, in which case I might get work out of it. And I am finding I get a bit of both. And
And
then
I'm taking notes here while you're talking because well, I am, I'm taking notes. I think a lot of times when you are talking, you talk about, you made a really good point about the not being salesy, right? And that's one of the points that I talk about a lot, which is what can you do to be able to impact folks and come across in a way that's authentic and genuine, but obviously still be able to potentially work with them and talk with them. So you were sharing with me kind of some ideas of what you're doing in that regard, the whole virtual coffee stuff. Talk to us a little bit about that. So now that they understand a little bit about what you do, let's talk a little bit more about, and I'm going to get back to some of that too. The imposter syndrome is a big, big thing too. So we'll definitely get back to that. But talk to us a little bit about how how you've been able to engage people online vis-a-vis LinkedIn.
of course. So what I've done is I've kind of drafted myself a message for when I'm connecting. So rather than do the just blanket LinkedIn connection, which doesn't show you've put a lot of effort in, I've created one that talks about what's my purpose. And my purpose is that I want to grow my network to like-minded people. I would love to add them to my valuable LinkedIn connections and learn more about each other. And then I tailor it a little bit to each person, so it's personalized, so it doesn't look quite so blanket, but the majority of it, I'll be honest, has been pre-written as the what's my purpose, why is it I want to connect with you. And then when they respond to me, if they connect and they accept, I send them another note, again personalized to them, but a large part of it is pre-crafted, which just says along the lines of, thank you so much for accepting my connection request. The reason that I wanted to connect with you was I saw this about you. And then what was the reason you wanted to connect? So something from their profile. And then a piece that says, I'd really like to get to know the people that I connect with, to learn a little bit more about them and to hopefully share a little bit about me so that we can grow together. To do that, I would love to be able to have a virtual coffee. And for ease of scheduling, here's a link. And what I do
love
is
that.
I have a Calendly link. So on my Calendly piece, I've got it set up as a special one, which is a virtual coffee for half an hour. So I cut and paste that link in, and therefore, if they come back and they want to connect, they can immediately be booking that straight into my calendar. So you don't end up in that wasted time where you're going, oh yeah, that'd be great. Well, what time works for you? What time works for me? And actually you're wasting some of the conversation. What you really want to do is chat to them and learn more about them. So at that point, obviously we go for the virtual coffee. Now,
let me stop you there for a second, Kim, just because you were saying a bunch of good stuff. Let me stop you before we actually get to the coffee, because so first of all, I love that for those of you guys, and again, I'm taking notes on this, for those of you guys who hopefully heard this, you're going to want to jot down that line of, for ease of scheduling, I included a link to my calendar. I don't know if that's a verbatim, but that's definitely conceptually true. For ease of use, ease of scheduling, I've copied a link to my calendar. One of the things, Kim, I have to tell you, I have resisted a little bit the online calendar functionality, because sometimes it feels like it doesn't feel warm to me. I'm not saying what it is or what it's meant to be. It's how it's felt to me. And sometimes it hasn't felt as warm. But when you told me that, again, I think we were talking last week about this. When you told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, I actually used that today. I used that this morning. I did a presentation. We were talking offline. I did a presentation over at a group down in Florida. It was a virtual kind of like conference. It was really a power lunch. And I did that today. There were some people who wanted to chat. And I was like, listen, for ease of use, why don't we do this? So I think that that's a great thing. So that's the first point that I heard. The second point that I heard that I just really want to make clear for people and the listeners is, notice how she talked about giving them a reason why she was, in your case, you wanted to talk with them. I think a lot of times, like, there's a school of thought that says just send out as many invites as you can. And I'm not putting that down or up. It's not what I do. I think that, to your point, maybe that's why it resonated. To your point, I like to be able to give people a reason, because here's the thing. This is just psychology 101. In a vacuum, for a reason, people will put in their own. Mm-hmm. And their own is usually never to your best and highest good. It's usually fear-based. It's scarcity-oriented. So I love how you do that. And it sounds like that's really been working for you.
Yeah, it has. Because we all will have fallen victim to those people who send you a connection request and then immediately spam you with, like, an A4 sheet of what they're going to sell to you. And it's like, please don't do that, because actually all that happens is I will just delete you as a connection, because you've not tried to get to know me. You don't know if I need your service. You might think it, but actually do me the, one of my friends was saying, do me the justice of taking me out for dinner before you try and marry me. At least invest a little bit in that relationship. So I think, for me, I kind of go in and go, this is what was interesting to me. This is what I'd like to learn more about. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, I have had somebody come back before now and immediately say, I don't need a coach.
Right, but you know what the thing is there? Just to interject real quick, I'm sorry. You know what the thing is there? That's a conversation about their baggage and what they think your intention is, and right, versus what you actually were trying to do.
Absolutely. And what I did with that particular person is I responded back and said, that's great to know, and forgive me. It wasn't my intention to try and sell you coaching. I had connected with you because I wanted to get to know you and to learn more about my connections. And if it came across as I was trying to pitch you coaching, that wasn't what I wanted. We ended up having a conversation. We did have it, and got on famously. Because my entire approach to any form of networking is I never assume that the person that's in the room or the person that I'm connecting with directly is necessarily going to be a customer.
Right.
I want, however, to be able to get into their network, because whilst they might want to coach, somebody in their network will want to coach, and I would like that. So I kind of go in with the piece that says, I don't do my pitch and go, this is what I'm doing. But I say, if my client looks like this, if you know of anybody in your valuable network that looks like that, I would really appreciate it if you would connect.
Yes, that's another good line. My clients look like this, I love that. Look like this. And
to identify.
I'm sorry, I talked over you. Say it again, Kim. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it just helps them to identify. Because actually what they'll do, if you get that really niche down, is they'll think about it and they'll go, oh, I know Fred looks just like what Kim said. So I'm going to connect her with Fred, because actually we all have hundreds and thousands of connections that we know. So what you want to be able to do is get it really honed in into your subconscious, so that the subconscious can find that person for you. And you're trying to access the people you're talking to, you're trying to access their subconscious. So the more specific you can make it, the easier it is for the other person's subconscious brain to go, that's the person I need to connect her with. Equally,
that is awesome. Go ahead.
Thank you. Equally, while you're describing that, what also happens is if the person themselves resonates and goes, oh my God, that's me, they will go, actually, funny you should say that, because I'd been giving it some consideration. And that is, for me, a lucky bonus, because it isn't my intention of the conversation. And if you keep your intention clean and you keep it honorable, then actually you'll find it happens anyway. Because, I say to people, I want to learn about you. I want to know who your ideal customer is, because I want my subconscious brain to be finding you those connections. I would like you to know who my ideal customer is for the same basis, because together we will grow. If it just so happens that we either need each other, or one or the other of us needs each other, then that's just an added bonus.
Right,
What it
right.
does is it takes all of the sales element out of the conversation. It takes away the fear, because everybody's afraid that they're going to get sold to, particularly because there are all those people that spam you on LinkedIn with a, you just need my stuff. It's like, well, you might want to chat with me first before you identify. Because the other thing that is true is, we may all have a problem of one kind or another. We may all have a something that we want to buy, purchase, or solve. But what we don't want is somebody to turn up who doesn't know us and immediately be telling us exactly what's wrong with us without us having a conversation, because we feel exposed. Because actually, if it's that obvious to the world that I need this, what else is obvious to the world?
Right.
What other of my vulnerabilities that I'm hoping nobody sees are laid out for everybody to share?
That's really good.
So it's how we make people feel more secure, more safe. It's like, have the conversation first, see if they've got a need. And the other thing is, I absolutely know I will not be the right coach for everybody. And I say that to my potential clients. When we first meet, it's like, the first conversation that we have, at the point that they say, I do want a coach, we'll have a different conversation. It's like, look, we need to have a further conversation, because I won't be the right coach for everybody. And you need to make sure that it's the right one for you. You've got to know that it's a person that you can absolutely trust. And that you can feel confident that you are going to totally open up to them. Because if you don't totally open up, if you don't have that trust, you won't share the actual root cause, you'll share the symptoms. Now, the symptoms, and when we address the symptoms, will move you forward. You will come out better than you were. You will see the benefit of it, but you'll still have the root cause because you've not shared that. So you've got to get to that confidence that you're going to be able to do that.
That is awesome. And that's, and part of that too is, if I understand you correctly, the people that you're connecting to, back to just the LinkedIn point for a second, the people that you're connecting to, they are part of your buying market to begin with. They fit a profile, they fit a group, a demographic, or whatever of people. So when you're making that point of, hey, listen, I'd like to get to know you, and you might know some other people, you're really basing it off the philosophy that like knows like, which is that if you're like a certain person, you're likely, and who that person is consistent with my clientele, then you're likely to know other people, even if it happens to be you.
Absolutely. And the other benefit for me is, even if the person I connect with never becomes a client and doesn't need me, they are just like my ideal client. And therefore, their knowledge, their experience, their beliefs, and their opinions are really useful additional learning tools for me, so that I can better understand my client, and I can share with them, talking to people like you, client, because I am. They're saying, these are some of the things that are happening right now. Does that resonate with you? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, it resonates with me. So there's no downside for me. Either I get to learn loads more, which is beneficial and helps my clients, because I've got even more understanding of what they're going through right now, what it's like to operate in their world today. Whereas I did it 2 years ago. So, the world moves at such a pace. 2 years ago is old school now. You've got to stay relevant. So it's a great way of me staying relevant. And there's the upside that I may get a client either in them or from them.
That's interesting.